So in 1966, my family moved to Edmonds. My dad had grown up in New York, near the water, but not on the water, and always dreamed about having a place on the water. And he looked at this, and the house was a dump on Cary Road. It was a teardown. And he looked at that, looked back, and that's my mom's like, no. And he goes, I can't make that, but I think I can fix this. So he bought the house. He was like 35 and bought the house, and every night was fixing it up after working at mowing. Went to Edmonds Elementary School, which is Francis Anderson at the time, then Olympic Elementary, which is now Edmonds Elementary, Edmonds Junior High, which is the ECA, and then Edmonds High School, Tigers. Edmonds High School, not this other hyphenated thing. And then off to the UW and whatnot. And then when I was 15, I had a sailboat down on ADOC, a little 9-footer. Sailed across to Kingston one time and back, and then I got a 21-footer, which was a lot more fun, a lot more seaworthy out here to enjoy this area. You don't go very far in a sailboat because if you're sailing, you just don't go very far. Vivid memory, though, we were over at Point No Point and coming back, and we were motoring back. So my dad had the tiller. I'm facing Point No Point, and all of a sudden you see this big black thing like this. We killed the motor, and just a pod went around it. And it's an eerie feeling because you're like, if they tap this boat, we're wet. But it didn't. It just swam past us. It's so cool.
Wow.
So cool. So probably 25 years had a boat down there, spent a lot of time down there playing. I learned to water ski in Puget Sound. And then was going to run for city council when Dave Erling was running. But Marianne Zarkorski at the port was open. She was going to run again. I said, well, I could run against her, but she's doing a great job. Why do that? And so her and I had coffee because I wanted to know what she was doing with the city of Edmonds, with the Economic Development Commission at the time. And she said, I'm not running again. I said, time out here. I'd rather do that. So, and I'm glad I made that choice for a lot of reasons. One is there's no TV. We're not televised, which I think is a great thing. I think it's not helpful. I think you do better without it.
One of the things that I appreciate so much about the port is it is, besides being a great place to visit and a great amenity for the city, it's also an economic engine for the city. Could you talk to us about some of your thoughts about both preserving that part of the port district as well as opportunities for expanding?
So we at the port, we just redid our mission statement, so I have it written down. I can't remember it yet. But the mission of the port is to provide value to our community through economic development, marina and commercial operations, waterfront public access, and environmental stewardship. So everything we do runs through the filter of what's it going to cost? What are we giving up for it? So to keep the boats in the marina, they pay moorage, and then every year their moorage rates go up by CPI +1. They took a big hit last year. And then on the Harbor Square side, we make money there too. We just rebuilt the building that's out by the corner, by the sign at the kitty corner from the ferry boat ticket booth. Over $1 million just to refurbish that building. It had a lot of rot going on in it, things like that. And you saw it wrapped up for a little while maybe, but it penciled out to do that instead of tearing it down. And we've put over 80 HVAC units in the roofs of those buildings at Harbor Square. So we're heavily invested in that. That makes money over there. So we want to keep doing that. Keep it. It's fine the way it is. There's over 50 businesses.
So
we make money.
The landlord of I was just trying to put some perspective.
Yes. Thank you.
The port is the landlord of Harbor Square.
And then we have Jacobson Marine. We have our new building going in across from Anthony's. We hope that we can make the like the city does with the city council chambers. You have other people have access to it. We hope other people have access to our commission chambers because we're not there very often. So either in a rental basis or just other groups use it because it'll be a nice building, have a nice view of the marsh too, actually. So we want to keep the money that way. We've hired a federal lobbyist to help with the boardwalk, which we call the port walk. The seawall underneath is failing, so that's going to be north of 20 million to fix that. So we've hired a federal lobbyist to help with that. We can come up with probably half the money because we've created a restoration reserve fund. Some state legislators have tried to tap into that money and say, hey, well, you guys have a lot of money. You could help with this up here. The marina's got to be replaced someday. There's going to be stuff coming up. There's always something coming up. So we have to balance out and budget out our maintenance. There's always deferred maintenance that we keep finding out about stuff because it's near
You
saltwater.
get money from taxes,
About 600,000 a year, so it's not very much.
separate taxes.
Yes, district. There's 98020 zip code basically. So all of Woodway and part half the old city limits of Edmonds.
Okay.
Is what it is.
I have a question about tourism. As we all know, Edmonds is a highly sought after desired community. And looking at the structure, the layout of a hotel, the only one that's kind of upper scales is Best Western on Harbor Square. And there are so much opportunity here. So how do you see where we're heading? What's the balance? Do we build more hotel, develop more tourism, or where's the balance?
But unless the city condemns the ebb tide and makes a hotel out of it, I don't see a hotel coming down to the waterfront.
So you asked, I was gonna ask that question as well.
Yeah.
Because my business been in Seattle for like 40 some years. So I moved my business to Edmonds last 6 years. And so we have a friend running for port commissioner for Seattle, Port of Seattle. And I know Seattle is very important because of the economic thing with Asia country.
Yeah.
But so for Port of Edmonds, now, my question was how the tourism, because being in the travel business, we always work with the Port of Seattle, and they try to promote the Seattle area, and now we bring in the cruise ship and all that. So what's the, how the Port of Edmonds connecting with other ports in the state of Washington?
Good question. I think on the hotel issue, we have on the water. We have a hotel, and the people bring their boats here and stay overnight. So we have, I can't remember the number of nights, but it's hundreds and hundreds of people. We have night visits. So you come for like 3 or 4 days, bring a family, you're in your boat down there. You guys don't see it because it's on the water, but then we shuttle them up into town with our van sometimes. So there's that element. On the
Connecting with other ports.
Yeah.
That was
So connected with other ports, and in Grant County, where Moses Lake is, there's 10 port districts in that one county. There's no water. So ports are economic development opportunities and tourism. So on the tourism side, we compete a little bit. We've talked to Port of Kingston about maybe doing some things jointly with them. I've got an idea for a porter fest, a beer porter fest with South Whitby, Kingston, and Everett, and they're all the commissioners are on board for it. We just have to have some breweries take the ball and run with it.
Breweries.
Huh?
We-
Exactly. And we want them to take it over. We don't want to take it
Yeah.
over. We want it to be them. We just help facilitate it. We do have Bob McChesney, who just left, had a little bit of a dream where we've got the fishing pier out here. If we did a finger pier out there, there's these very small cruise ships, small, not the big ones you see go out. The tiny ones that do Puget Sound, they kind of don't notice them. But that could be a place where that could be moored. Or if you had a servicing ferry, I'd like to see a servicing ferry from Kingston to Everett, Muckleteel, or to Whidbey, and then down here, just kind of a zigzag
Just
back
to
and
get
forth.
passengers.
But that takes a lot. You've got tribes, you got unions, you got
Yeah.
state, you got federal people, all kinds of things to build something like that. But that could happen. It's going to take way longer than you think to do.
An opportunity to think about.
We'd like to have more land, like some ports have hundreds of acres to develop. We don't have that.
Your beautiful waterfront.
And we want to keep access to the waterfront. That's the thing.
Does the port have anything, and you probably doesn't have anything to do with that walkway that is cut out?
40 seconds.
There's
No,
a
so the-
walkway, it ends, and then
Right,
there's that.
the ebb tide. So we're the breakwater,
Okay.
the rocks, and then across the tracks in Harbor Square. That's what we have. We have jurisdiction in the whole district, but that's property we have control over.
So who would connect that walkway? Is that the city? Yeah, that's an issue.
There's solutions to that, but
Okay.
if I was in charge, it'd be done. But
Yeah,
David, do you know the average annual revenue generated by the port? Per year.
annual revenue, I was thinking net.
Not net.
We net about $1 million a year, and I think we're at $6 million is our budget. It's either 6 or 9. I'm sorry, I forgot.